Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
President Trump unveils his trillion-dollar plan to repair and rebuild the nation's crumbling infrastructure. I'm Hannah Doba with the details ahead.
And closer to home, an oil train catches on fire in western Montana. Coming up, how volunteer firefighters and a train crew kept the blaze from extreme danger to the public.
Crazy stuff. There's crazy stuff outside there right now. I stepped outside and I came right back in.
Yeah, you did.
Wind is blowing, temperatures are cold. Yeah, it's a good sick day out there.
Yeah.
You forgot to call in. That's
I didn't realize it until I was already in my car. That was the downside to that whole thing. So we're giving you plenty of time. You're not looking all that well.
No, yeah.
Maybe Wednesday.
The wind chills have, at least here, been sitting right around 20 below most of the morning. The wind's a little lighter at the airport in Belgrade. 3 degrees our current temperature, 9 below in Butte. Those are the air temperatures. The wind chill, not bad there, but again, many areas dealing with that near 20 below for the morning. It is raw, and it's going to be difficult to spend any time outdoors, and you shouldn't, especially if you don't have your hats, gloves, mittens, long underwear, scarf, pretty much the whole gamut is what you're going to need. There is a chance that we could see a few light snowflakes today. They will be very fine snowflakes. They're not going to be those big, fluffy, wet flakes for sure because the temperature's too cold. We're not going to get anything real significant out of it. But temperatures expected to drop down again tonight below zero for parts or portions of the area you choose. So I can't make a decision currently. Too cold.
All those snowflakes are going to end up in Livingston with the wind anyway. So
That's
it's not
it.
gonna make a difference.
There you go.
That's a top national story, or a portion of it anyway, Matt. Today we learn how President Trump plans to pay for his ambitious plan to overhaul our nation's infrastructure.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are still wondering where this money will come from, and environmentalists insist that the plan will have devastating effects. Hannah Doba explains.
Today, President Trump is scheduled to unveil the plan for one of his biggest campaign promises, a promise reiterated a couple weeks ago during the State of the Union address.
Tonight, I'm calling on Congress to produce a bill that generates at least $1.5 trillion for the new infrastructure investment that our country so desperately needs.
A senior administration official says the proposal will have 4 objectives. Stimulate $1.5 trillion in new investment and infrastructure, shorten the permitting process to 2 years, invest in rural infrastructure, and improve workforce training. Only $200 billion of the $1.5 trillion would come from direct federal spending. State and local governments are expected to pony up the rest. And while lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have questioned where the money will come from, environmentalists are sounding the alarm on the shortened permitting process. The Center for American Progress, a progressive public policy research organization, released a statement that says in part, quote, "What Trump and his team have released is not an infrastructure plan. It's a scam to line the pockets of corporate polluters by gutting protections for our environment." The White House announced that on Wednesday, the president will host a bipartisan group from Capitol Hill to talk about the proposal. Hannah Doba, CBS News.
Now, President Trump will also be releasing today his budget plan for the coming fiscal year. In it expects to be cuts of dozens of federal agencies. The Environmental Protection Agency may be hit the hardest, with reported cuts of more than 30%. The plan will also include funding for a southern border wall, veterans' health, and the opioid epidemic crisis.
In other headlines this morning, a 74-year-old Hamilton man dead, 2 others injured after a multiple vehicle crash on Highway 93 near Victor. Montana Highway Patrol says on Friday morning around 10:40, GMC Sierra going southbound crossed into the intersection oncoming traffic for unknown reasons, sideswiped a Honda Accord. GMC continued southbound, hit a Chevy Tahoe head-on. Driver of the GMC and Honda Accord were left injured. A driver of the Chevy Tahoe was pronounced dead. Montana Highway Patrol says all drivers involved were wearing their seatbelts. Drug, alcohol, and speed not suspected to be a factor. However, road conditions at the time of the crash were wet and slushy. No names being released at this time.
And a train fire in Clinton became a public threat after first responders were left with the decision whether or not to evacuate the city since the train was carrying oil tankers.
That's right. Crews were able to separate the flaming engine from the rest of the train, but as MTN's Donald Lakatua tells us, residents were still concerned.
And came around the corner and I just saw the big flames sticking up from the exhaust. So I actually turned around and went back to the school in case there was an explosion. I just thought this could be ugly.
Jeff Rittenauer and his family lived directly across the tracks where flames were shooting out of the top of the engine car. Emergency responders arrived on the scene just after 4 p.m. on Sunday and realized the train was carrying oil tankers. Clinton Rural Fire Chief said unless crews could separate the cars from the engine, they were preparing to evacuate the town of Clinton.
We might not have even had enough water to put out an engine fire, but our priority would have been getting the Clinton people out. But judging by the distance between the track and the houses, it really would have been an inconvenience for the homeowners, but something we were evaluating.
Crews maintained distance from the fire while trying to suppress the flames, and Montana Rail Link was able to detach the oil tankers from the engine, which made an evacuation unnecessary.
Initially, flames were judged to be 15 feet high. Engine is attached to an oil tanker car. Multiple oil cars were told they're empty. MRL was already on scene upon our arrival. We deployed hose, we sprayed water on the car behind the engine, and the fire slowly burned itself out. We never did put any water on the engine itself, mostly because we didn't want to get too close.
There were no injuries reported. MRL dispatched an investigator to determine the cause of the ignition, while crews stayed on scene to monitor temperatures. Donal Akatua, MTN News, Clinton.
In other news on your Monday morning, hundreds gathered at MSU on Saturday, all in the name of empowering young Montana women. Thrive's annual Girls for a Change Summit filled the campus. MTN's Caitlin Corbett tells us how this year the summit encouraged girls to grow their daydreams.
For more than a decade, the Thrive organization has hosted the Girls for a Change Summit, an event that invites young women from across the state for a day of knowledge and empowerment with a new theme each year. More than 100 girls from grades 8 through 12 gathered at Montana State University's Strand Union building and took part in group activities, building relationships and learning new skills along the way. The event also featured several keynote speakers, women whose ideas have paved the way for younger generations to someday leave their mark on society.
Well, our mission is to inspire the next generation of female leaders. And so we just really believe that young people have a really powerful voice and not always the platform to share what they're feeling and thinking.
Girls at the summit participated in activities from dumpling making to screen printing, all with the theme Grow Your Daydreams, which aims to get the girls out of their comfort zones and thinking about their futures.
And so it's all about having some sort of idea or inspiration when you're young and then growing that into something that you can make a career or a life path. And so our goal here at the summit is just to expose girls to things that they've never done before, and really just get them excited about trying new things and meeting new people and hearing different perspectives.
And some of the young women who attended the event say it's more important now than ever for women to lift each other up.
Especially in our social and political climate right now, I think it's really important for girls to be together and understand that they can be just as empowered as everyone else and stand together, all diverse.
And I just thought it'd be really interesting because there's a lot going on in the world, and I think it's really important for girls to stand out. I just really enjoy the environment, and everybody here is just wants to be here, and it's just really fun.
The event wrapped up just around 5 o'clock with more than 200 people attending in total. Caitlin Corbett, MTN News, Bozeman.
In other headlines this morning, we're not the only place dealing with wind and cold temperatures. Skiing events at the Olympics in South Korea have been postponed today because of high winds. The Alpine Center winds being clocked at near 50 miles an hour. That's delaying the start of the women's giant slalom. Yesterday, high winds delayed the start of the men's downhill. Here's a look at some results from yesterday. U.S. picked up gold medal in the women's snowboard slopestyle. Jamie Anderson takes gold. Canada gets silver. Finland with the bronze. Team figure skating also wrapped up yesterday. The U.S. team took bronze in that. Canada went gold. The Olympic athletes from Russia, the silver. In the men's 5,000 meter speed skating, that was won by the Netherlands. Canada takes silver, Norway with bronze. And I don't know if you saw that 30-kilometer men's cross-country ski race. 68 people started. Right at the start, guy wipes out, gets run over. He's in 68th place, has to go get a new pole because he broke his pole. Ends up winning the thing by 10 seconds.
Really?
Went from 68th place to first place and won gold in the thing.
Anything's possible.
It was so incredible.
Congratulations
Absolutely
to
cool.
Jamie Anderson. That's my girl.
Oh, she rocked it. It was awesome. Yeah, good stuff.
I love the Olympics.
It's good stuff.
Such a good. I didn't make it this year, but maybe next time.
There you go. Well, we'll get a podium for you to stand on, if nothing else. That'll be good. Yeah.
Maybe a tinfoil medal. All right, we'll work on it. We do have to take a quick break. Coming up next on Montana This Morning, it's This Week Under the Big Sky. And in today's edition, how a small publication of a parenting magazine based out of Missoula transcended to a mama load of readers nationwide.
But first, here's Nora O'Donnell with a peek at our headlines through 7 o'clock.
Good morning. Ahead here on CBS This Morning, we're in Arizona with the investigation into the deadly helicopter crash in the Grand Canyon. And first on CBS This Morning, Olympic swimmer Ariana Kukers is in Studio 57 to speak out about alleged abuse by a former Team USA coach. We'll see you at 7.